Welcome, everyone, to the Islanders Never Say Die podcast. I'm your host, TJ, and with me here, as always, is the grumpy old man. They say there's no shame to his game because he's always the same.
Is there anything else you want to describe me as?
No.
The NHL analyst and expert?
Oh, yes, that's right. How could I forget?
Because you got that smooth brain syndrome.
Is that what it is? Smooth brain syndrome.
Yes.
But yes, the grumpy old man, NHL analyst and expert. Welcome, Grumpy. Well, look, you've messed up your own intro. You could just roll with the punches there, Grumpy, and been fine with it.
No, you're supposed to get it straight. As quote unquote host, it's the one thing you're supposed to do. Get the star's name right.
Oh, get the star's name right. Well, we got your name right, Grumpy. So that's, we got the name right, though. But anyway, for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. And if you're new to the show, welcome. This is an All Islanders podcast that takes place every single Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're new to the channel and you like the content that we put on and you watch today's show, there's a few things that I encourage you to do. I encourage you to subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss out on any of our future episodes, and also to like the video. First off, if you subscribe on YouTube, what it is, it lets you know anytime we go live, right? It'll give you a ping, a little notification. So you'll know when we go live, and also if you missed the show, right? Or if we go on, I don't know, an hour or two early like we're doing here today, you'll get that ping.
It is 1 hour early, not an hour or two. Maybe on TJ time, it's 2 hours early, but the show's supposed to start at 8 o'clock.
Okay, so we're on an hour early. What do you
said an hour or two. Make it sound like, I mean, this show was supposed to start an hour ago, by the way.
Here it is.
TJ said, but he's always running an hour late. So
we're starting the show an hour early. And for those of you who like to be, I guess, kept updated with that, because sometimes things come up, you got to make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on any of those updates, right? And also, if you hit the thumbs up button or you like the video, lets myself and Grumpy know you like the content that we put out. And also, hey, it helps the algorithm. It gets this, I guess, the podcast out to the masses. So to share the ideology and I guess the fun times with the masses, Grumpy Old Man. We also do have a secondary podcast called TJ and the Grumpy Old Man. It is a once a week all sports podcast that takes place tomorrow, usually there at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You could find that in the link in the description below or as a featured page here on our YouTube channel. You'll scroll down where it says check out our other podcast. You'll see TJ and the Grumpy Old Man. Usually that's a show where myself, the Grumpy Old Man, and Son X talk anything and everything sports. That's college athletics, that's NFL, that's MLB, that's NBA, that's NHL, that's MLB, that's literally anything and everything sports on that show. And again, it's a once a week show that takes place every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you like to just shoot the shit, talk sports, that's kind of the place to go. But Grump, I guess, we've got some good action going on in the Eastern Conference and Western Conference finals and some rumors that are stirring around in Islanders Nation that, I guess we'll start to see the validity behind those said rumors sooner, I'm sure, rather than later. But Grump, kind of to give some updates as to where the Eastern and Western Conference finals are currently. The Florida Panthers, they went down 2-1 of the series and they stormed back. They grabbed the next two. They have a 3-2 lead at home for themselves here. They're going to be facing the Rangers tonight in Game 6. I did not know, by the way. I think the Rangers have lost their last 5 Game 5s or last 7 Game 5s that they've played in or something like that crazy in a playoff series. So, but yes.
They've been outplayed in this series by Florida. Overwhelmingly outplayed. Shesterkin's been sensational in goal. They've won a couple of overtime games. I think Florida closes them out tonight. They've dominated. They've absolutely dominated the Rangers the majority of the time.
Rangers had the far better goalie. I think
provides. Okay. I'm going to say better goal.
Far better. If Shesterkin's on Florida, they sweep the Rangers. Do you disagree with that?
I don't. I disagree. Bobrovsky's been good.
So game 3, Bobrovsky gave up like 5 goals on 19 shots or something. It was awful. That's not something Shesterkin does, or we wouldn't expect to do. I'm saying Shesterkin, I think they win the first game as well, or they win that game 2. They probably win game 3, and they would have already swept the Rangers.
Okay.
Anyway,
So
go ahead, Grump.
Florida wins tonight.
Okay.
I just think Florida wins tonight. I think they're the better team. They're the better overall team.
I still think this series goes 7 games. I just do.
Okay.
And I think they probably win tonight. I don't know if we're going to have some some luck, or the power play clicks for them. Who the heck knows? Maybe they get a plethora of penalty calls that going their way. And there's been a lot of anytime we get deep in the playoffs, each team always bitches and moans about, we're not getting the calls, or they're getting every call. That's just how it is around this time period. But I just think the game goes 7. I think the series goes 7. I think Shesterkin has been spectacular for them. I think the special teams has been a real shining point there for the Rangers. But yeah, I just think they win tonight, and they'll go to game 7. They'll probably lose.
I think one Ranger player who's really stepped up this playoff series and established himself as a really good NHL player has been Alex Lafreniere. I think he's been really good this playoff run. I think he has 8 goals in however many games they've played, and he's been really good. He's taken that step up. He's 22 years old. He's taken that step up, which it's what you want to see with your young talent.
Yep. Simple as this. I think he's much better than what the haters of his have been saying and trying to detract towards him for quite some time, because
usually the haters are jealous, is what I find.
Yeah, and it's funny. It's one of them is a guy who likes to propagate a lot of crazy ideology there in the Islanders sphere as well. Has been shitting on him all year long. But I will say he's done more than impress me this year in the postseason, Lafreniere. And you think it's like we've always said with a young guy, sometimes it takes him a bit of time. I'm not going to go ahead and immediately ignore first overall draft pick, 22-year-old guy who's shown glimpses at times. And guess what? He's strung together a lot of those glimpses. And I think he's been probably one of the better forwards, if not the best forward for the Rangers in this series.
I don't know if he's been the best forward, but he's been really good.
Vinny Trocheck is the only other guy who I think has performed at the level probably that they would have wanted him to.
I think Kreider's been good. I think their forward group has been okay. Remember, Florida's just really good. I don't sell Florida short. They've been really good. So, but I think Lafreniere in the playoffs this year has shown that he belongs in, that he's a kid to be reckoned going forward. I'll just put it to you that way. Now, I remember last year, the last month of the season, myself and Phil Fiction had a disagreement where I said, Lafreniere's looked really good the last month of the season.
Yeah.
And he was like, he sucks. He wouldn't take him on our team for anyone. I'm like, dude, you're wrong. I said, he's been playing really well the last month. And he disagreed. Even in the offseason, he wouldn't have taken him straight up for Simon Holmstrom. And I'm just like, well, again, I'm right. He's wrong.
Yeah, it's, I mean, how many times do we hear the same exact people? Oh, they signed Blake Wheeler. That means that there's no potential for a guy like Lafreniere. He's a bust. He's a this. Here's the thing. You could see talent and you could see ability at times, right? Sometimes players show flashes and they never capitalize on it, and they can tend to they don't develop the consistency required to be the guy. But the first step is you have to see the flashes and the brilliance, and he's a guy you could see that with, and then now you're seeing more of the consistency coming with the game as he gets older.
The issues that some people have is, well, he hasn't shown anything. Well, he was playing the same thing with Capo Caco, playing on the third line, and Filipino. They were all playing on the third line for the Rangers, and it's like, they're not third line players. They had Kreider and Zibanejad, and last year they had Tarasenko and Kane and Trocheck. I mean, all these guys, they're top 6 guys, so it was nowhere for them to go. Some guys get called out. Some guys improve in the preseason. They earn that spot. When you're looking at 21, 22-year-olds, sometimes it takes a little time. Sometimes, you know what? you're asked to do a checking role, even though that's not your skill set. I mean, I think he's done that well. I think he's absolutely improved. And now you're seeing the offensive game for him come through and shine. And congrats to the young man, right? I mean, it was not a great draft, but he's absolutely stood out this year for the Rangers and certainly in the playoffs. But it ends tonight.
I just think it goes 7. These both of these final series have been close. I think about it, right? Florida and the Rangers have had 3 of their 5 games go to overtime.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like it's a close series. I mean, like that's okay. We talk about how people say, "Oh man, last year, right? Oh, the Islanders were so close against Carolina. Oh, so many of these games were 1-goal games. This, that, and the other thing." Well, guess what? If the Rangers lose tonight, or let's say Florida loses a series and they lost 2 overtime games, they're not saying, "Oh, we're so close. We're chomping at the bit." None of that shit matters. All that matters is you win the games, you advance to the next stage, and you give yourself a shot to win the Stanley Cup against either Edmonton or Dallas.
I mean, it's like last year, Carolina lost 4 1-goal. They got swept by Florida. They lost 4 1-goal games.
Yep.
You know what? Bobrovsky was great last year. Freddie Anderson / Antti Ranta were not. That's the Achilles heel for Carolina right now. A goaltender who can cover the puck in the crease. That's a difference between Carolina beating the Rangers and being in the finals again, semifinals again this year, or losing to the Rangers. That's the difference. Goaltending. I just love people. Oh, well, you know what? You don't need a good goaltender. You know what? You do need a good goaltender, or you at least you need a goaltender that's absolutely on fire.
You need either a great goaltender, a hot goaltender, or offense so damn good that multiple players are making the Hall of Fame. We don't have the offense that have multiple players making Hall of Fame. We can get a hot goalie, we can get a good goalie, but the supporting cast of crew isn't good enough. Because now I want to kind of shift focus a little bit, right? Because maybe we'll go back and touch on it a little bit there, what we've seen from Florida. But Edmonton, right? Edmonton has a 3-2 lead over the Dallas Stars, and I would say the handful, including myself, going into that series, I definitely have picked the Dallas Stars as the favorite. I think they're by far the more complete team. It was funny. I know on the TJ and the Grumpy Old Man show, I said that Edmonton was going to win. And you know, looking down deep though, I probably thought Dallas is the better team, but you know, Edmonton they don't have a goalie. The defense is shambolic at times, but they've got a 3-2 lead in the series.
I picked Dallas also to win that series. I'm going to give a little bit of credit to Edmonton, though, suppressing shots. You've seen the last couple of games where they've been forcing all their shots from the outside, not getting a whole lot of shots on goal, been much better in their own zone. And that's always been Edmonton's problem. I don't think this series is over. They went down 3-0 early in the first period. I think the game wound up being 3-1. I think Dallas, once again, was the best road team in the NHL this year. I don't think this series is over.
I don't think it is either, right? That's the same thing I think about the Rangers. Series is not over. The Rangers have had those come from behind victories in the NHL this season, which I didn't know. I guess that makes sense, though, right? You know, you're going to be playing this late in the season. You've won the most games in the NHL. Makes sense. You've had the most come from behind victories. Edmonton is doing this, and I know you have a different take than I do about Connor McDavid and his play so far this postseason. But Edmonton's doing this, and I think the goaltender last night, what did they only allow 19 shots on net against Skinner?
19 shots.
Think about that.
But shots. That's what I'm saying. They were really good at shot suppression and blocking shots out front, which is something right, which is something that you could never. It helps when you jump out to that early lead. You get a 3-0 lead, in the first 10 minutes of the first period. It's easy to play defense with a 3-0 lead. And like I said, kudos to Edmonton for doing that. Let's see when the games are a little bit tighter or they go down a couple of goals.
Now, here's the thing. This has the potential to be an awful, and I mean awful, next 2 days. for Ranger fans. This is why, right? I don't like talking much about Ranger. I don't dislike Ranger fans, but remember Edmonton's coach who had coached the juniors team there for Connor McDavid. He was also the coach down there in the AHL affiliate for the Rangers for years and years and years. And as they had gone through coaching changes, people are always like, why not give him a chance? Why not give Knobloch a chance? Why not go ahead and give him a chance? Could you imagine, right? You're the Rangers, you get eliminated tonight. Tomorrow night, Edmonton advances. So you had the coach who's entering as a first year head coach in the NHL, entering into the Stanley Cup Finals, that you had him on your AHL affiliate team all the time, but never would give him a chance.
I don't think you can argue that they have the right guy at the helm in Peter Laviolette.
I don't know. I think Peter Laviolette is a really good coach. Absolutely. I'm just saying it could be a real as a fan, though,
he's the anti-Gallant. He's the anti-Gallant. He brings structure to the team. The Rangers have been better than they were this year than they were last year. Absolutely.
The President's Trophy. They were the best team in the NHL this season.
So I don't think just because one coach catches lightning in a bottle in his rookie year.
I don't think it's catching lightning in a bottle.
Okay. He's never coached the NHL before. They were not handling a veteran team like the Rangers over to a guy like that. They needed a guy who's more of a disciplinarian and somebody. I mean, Edmonton still doesn't play with a whole lot of structure, and that's what the Rangers needed. And they're much better this year. Much better defensively.
Fan, if the guy who is rotting away on the vine or rotting on the vine on the AHL affiliate who was never given a chance, first opportunity he was given a chance to move there to Edmonton, a team that's been plagued by lack of playoff performance, a lack of defensive structure, and hideous goaltending, and they make it to a Stanley Cup Finals his first year being there, or maybe even win a Stanley Cup. Holy shit. As a Ranger fan, that's got to be bad. Okay, it would be the same thing. Could you imagine? Not Thompson, because Brent Thompson, because he's been miserable for years and years and years. But imagine we had a different. Is Thompson still there as the head coach, right, for the Bridgeport team?
I think he's gone now.
Tells you how much.
But here's the thing: I'm not putting down what Knobloch has done, but to think that the Rangers are going to bring in an AHL coach to coach that veteran roster, I just think you're crazy. It's just not going to happen.
Somebody gave him a shot, and it looks like it panned out pretty damn well for them.
Well, it helped that he coached Connor McDavid in the past.
Okay, guess what? A lot of people. Okay.
That's why he got the job.
And guess what? They picked the right freaking guy, quite obviously.
But Connor McDavid doesn't play for the Rangers. The only reason he got the job was because Connor McDavid is a guy that played for him in the past.
He was given the job and the opportunity, right? And I'll say this: if you win a Stanley Cup with a team like Edmonton who's never been able to get over the hump, your first year as a coach, I'm going to argue that
now they're winning a Stanley Cup.
I just said it could be a rough day for Rangers. That's how he prefaced it. It could be a rough day for Rangers.
Okay, well now you haven't winning the Stanley Cup.
Edmonton's winning the Stanley Cup, Grumpy.
Okay,
I'll tell you one thing: if they beat Dallas, they're just finding ways to win games recently.
Yeah, I just think that Florida. I like Florida.
I don't think the league is going to let you manhandle McDavid like they have in the past. They've been calling a lot, in my opinion, right? I watched the games, but they're making sure to call the right penalties. Let me put it to you like that.
They're letting the guys play this year. They're absolutely letting the guys play.
Okay. I'd say the interference or the cross check from behind there that was called against McDavid that gave him the power play goal early on like that. I was like, ooh, I thought that was a little loose. I think for the officiating, or I think the officiating was a little strict on that. That's all. Who knows? I think it benefits the league to have him win a Stanley Cup. I just do.
Okay.
So again, Edmonton, Dallas, what's your takeaway, Grumpy? What are your thoughts?
I was surprised Dallas came out as they did last night and went down 3-0 early. I was surprised by that. That said, I thought the game before they go up 2-0. They're really dominating the action. They talked to Laviolette they talked to DeBoer on the bench. He's like, oh yeah, well, we're doing what we're supposed to, blah, blah, blah. And they give up 2 quick goals. And I don't think they ever recovered from that. They wound up giving up 5 unanswered. I think Dallas, sometimes it comes a little bit too easy, like it did in Edmonton. And then they just kind of got blitzkrieged the first few minutes of the game in Dallas last night. And then they settled back down, but by then it was too late. They're going to have to come out and play better, obviously, in Edmonton. So we're going to find out. We're going to find out.
Yeah.
I still think Dallas
is Dallas going to win. That's what I was trying to get at.
I still think Dallas is the better overall team, though.
Who wins the series?
I'll stick with Dallas till they're knocked out.
I'm going Edmonton, as I said. And I'm saying it's 7. I'm saying it's going to go 7 games, and I think that's game 7 between Florida and the Rangers going to be an OT thriller. That's what I'm predicting, Grumpy.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, think about it, right? Majority of the games have gone overtime so far. It wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility to see game 7 go to overtime.
Okay, that's fine.
I do think Edmonton though cruises past Dallas.
I'm still going to stick with Florida and Dallas until it's not Florida and Dallas anymore.
Oh man. The other thing we want to go ahead and talk about before we start jumping into some comments, a lot of rumors, right? And Johnny Mack and a lot of people are saying this, a lot of rumors are floating around. Yes, there are. There's some validity behind some of the things you read, some not so much. The Islanders, just to kind of recap what we talked about last episode, right? The Islanders had traded back in the first round and the second round to acquire another second round pick. Now, worth mentioning, as I said on the show last week, I don't think the Islanders are using those picks to draft players. I think they're going to use those picks or a portion of those picks or the majority of those picks to trade either bad assets or to bring in a player is what I believe and have. So, the rumor is, right, the Islanders are shopping some bad contracts. Guys like maybe Anders Lee, guys who have bad contracts on the books. That's the word around there right now. And they are also interested in apparently interested. I'm not sure the severity or how seriously they're interested in it, but they want to bring in a guy like Nikolai Ehlers. They want to bring in a forward to replace, push one forward out, bring one forward in is kind of what what it looks like this offseason so far.
Okay. Again, they have to be cap compliant. I know you can go 10% over, but they're going to have to move out of contract if they're going to bring anyone in. They have a whole lot of a raft of players who have to be re-signed this offseason. Most of them are RFAs, right?
You mean next offseason?
No, this offseason. I think they only have 9 forwards signed. So, here's the thing. They're going to sign Holmstrom back. They're going to sign McLean back. Wow. There are some guys that they have to that they're going to sign back just to field the team. So
they don't get like minimums or close to the minimum contract amount.
Right. I don't know exactly, but let's figure they have $6 million. Let's figure that they re-sign Riley, right? Let's say he costs $2 million. Let's say you sign McLean and Holmstrom back. That's probably going to be another $2 million. That leaves you with $2 million in cap space. So you're going to have, before you bring in a Nikolai Ehlers type, who's a name that we hear a lot of out there, you're going to have to shed cap. Absolutely going to have to do that. Maybe it's moving an Anders Lee. Maybe it's moving one of the defensemen who have long-term deals in a Pelech or a Pulak. Some contracts have to be moved before you can bring in any more talent. That just has to happen.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Lee. I really do. Just from what we hear. And I've always said I think it was going to be Lee. He's the guy who, at this stage, for his cap hit, probably offers you the least on the forward group for the amount of cap he absorbs. That's what happens when you sign a 30-year-old guy or a 29-year-old guy at the time period. Maybe he signed the contract to a 7-year extension. And newsflash, we've got a few of those other guys. Remember, that was a Lou Lamoriello contract, and we've got a few more of those times that Lou's been handing out those 7 or 8 year deals. So I'm not going to say it's going to be aging will be always as poor as Anders Lee's was, but when you sign guys in their 30s to 7-year deals or at 29 years old to 7-year deals, you're going to bear the brunt of the poor play towards the tail end. Now, what I could see happening, right? You talk about the signing back of certain players, Grump, the amount of projected cap space. I absolutely could see us trading away draft picks to get rid of Anders Lee's contract right? Because here's the thing. They're not going to want to eat cap hit. I've seen this out here. Oh, we can eat some cap hit on Anders Lee, and then we could go ahead and not have to give any draft picks up. The team is in a win now mode. I don't agree with that mode. Never have. Or I did when we were going to back-to-back Eastern Conference Finals. And as soon as we had the year where we finished 18 points out of a playoff spot, my thought process changed completely. It was almost like a 180. It's been set in that camp for a while now. But the team is in a win now mode. They're not going to say, let me eat $3 or $3.5 million on Anders Lee's contract so we don't have to give up a draft pick. The $3 and $3.5 million is more important to what Lou Lamoriello wants to do now than the draft pick is. So I think absolutely we would trade away draft capital to get rid of Anders Lee, and then you're going to have to trade something to get Nikolai Ehlers. Maybe that's draft picks. Who knows? We'll see.
But you can buy out Lee also if you want. You don't have to trade him. So you can buy him out.
3 million, 4 million, 2 million, 2 million. Okay. I don't think paying a guy, here's the thing. It doesn't help the solution for now. It doesn't. It's not going to give you enough cap space to bring in Nikolai Ehlers in your scenario. And next year, you're going to have even larger cap hit from Anders Lee. I don't see him doing that. Well, I mean, I don't see us buying on Anders Lee. I see us trading him away, giving away. That's why I think firmly we acquired that draft capital. We acquired another second-round pick so we could find a team we can offload and dump Anders Lee's contract to that could see value in a veteran guy who can help teach young players what it is to be a true professional. That's what I believe.
Yeah, but we also heard from someone that perhaps it was Chicago who initiated the trade with the Islanders because they have too many draft picks over the next number of years, and they want to move up in the draft. So they're incrementally moving up by giving up an extra second.
Well, that was mentioned in passing, in my opinion, on 31 Thoughts by Elliot Freeman. They've done it before in the past. They've added additional. They've moved up the draft board. Okay, though, if you're moving up the draft board, you don't usually do that ahead of the draft. When they've done that before in the past, they've done that on draft day, not before the draft.
But if you want to get to a certain number and you think that the cost will be onerous by moving up, 6 or 7 spots, as opposed to maybe, 4 or 5, maybe it's just a little bit different.
For a team that is trying to make, they're wanting quality, right, Grumpy? They're wanting quality over quantity. Well, then how could they say, let's trade up 2 picks and let's give away a second to trade up two spots in the first round and 4 in the second round? They don't even know who's going to be available at that spot. And maybe at that time period, it's efficiency. There's no way in hell you can convince me this was I don't give a shit what Elliot Freeman said. There's no way you can convince me this was initiated by Chicago. Absolutely none. Chicago, I'm sure, is a team who saw mutual interest. I think both teams have mutual interest in this, right? Chicago can't house 1 million prospects and sign every single one of them. You only have 50 available spots between their AHL affiliate and the NHL roster and everything in between the ECHL. You only have 50 available spots there for that. So no shot in hell that they were going to use all these draft picks. But if they saw, we're liking John Smith, who's fallen in the first round. Well, shit, it doesn't make sense for them to trade from 20 to 18 now, where if they could say, well, maybe we need to trade up to 15. So instead of giving away a second-round pick to move up to number 18, and then maybe another second-round pick to move up from 18 to 15, it's just not an efficient way to do it.
Well, maybe they want to move up higher than that. And they figured, okay, well, they have so many draft picks in the first 3 rounds the next 3 years. They cannot have that many guys on their roster. They just can't. So maybe they're just making incremental moves to move up. So, okay, so now we have an 18 to 50. Well, maybe an 18 to 50 moves us up to 14 or 13.
How does that benefit them to do that, though, without the knowledge of who's available? That's my point. Chicago, it makes sense for them to do that, but it does not make sense for them to make these trades before they have the information of what players available.
Unless they just say that they have too many draft picks right now with so many guys in the minors already. So they want to unload some draft picks. Let's move up, and then we can move on from there. Because you're right, they did not move up a whole lot, but they gave up an extra second, and they moved up 2 and 4. So you know what? And maybe they're going to move up again. They've dealt guys in the past to move up in the draft in Kirby Doc when they moved DeBrincat. Those are guys that they moved to move up in the draft. So you're going to see a raft of young players coming up for them, and that's what their rebuild is about: trading veterans and moving up in the draft. That's what they've done the last couple of years. That's how they want to do it.
Yeah,
I just don't think it's out of the realm of possibility.
They've never done it before the NHL draft. So Elliot just, I guess, mentioned to forgot to realize that.
Well, so what?
Okay,
if you're just moving draft picks, maybe they don't want to have 10 picks in the first 3 rounds this year. Maybe they just want to move on and they just want to move up. You don't think that's even a possibility? And here's the thing. I'm going to take what Elliot Freeman says over what you say. He's a little bit more connected than you are.
I'm just going to take what historically has happened and use that as my barometer, not what Elliot Freeman said in his 31 thoughts.
I'm going with Elliot Freeman. He's right. You're wrong.
Okay, gotcha. So when we go ahead and trade away these selections, I could just
tell you we're trading. Why don't we wait until the selection?
When that happens, as I've told you last episode, and I'll tell you this episode, you can mark that down now. And I think I made a very clear case for it last show as well. This team is trying to win a Stanley Cup now, and that is the wrong thought process because we are not close to good enough to do that. But every single time we've had any sort of draft capital, every single time we've traded those draft picks away and future players away and prospects to try to make our team better right now. We're not having a changing of guard like your thought process is of it's guaranteed next year Patrick Waugh is our new general manager. Guess what? Patrick Waugh does not have the say-so that you think he has. Lou Lamoriello still controls absolutely everything about this team. He just does.
I think that he has input. I firmly believe Patrick Waugh has input on what's going on with the team and the roster. I'm not saying that he is the final say. I'm not saying that. But I'm going to bet you that he and Lou Lamoriello talk, and they're probably at the end of the day kind of on the same path. Now, here's the thing.
I hope not.
Maybe the Islanders say, you know what? We know we're not contenders for a Stanley Cup, so let's put a Nikolai Ehlers on the team, make the team a little bit more exciting, and then move on some of the older guys. That's what I'm hoping they're going to do anyway.
What we're going to do is the same thing we've done every offseason. Until I'm given a reason to believe that it is no longer the path we're on, I'm going to continue to believe that's the path we're on.
Okay. That means we'll do nothing. That means we'll do nothing in the offseason.
No.
That's what we do every offseason.
The last offseason we had a first-round pick. We traded that first-round pick, and we acquired Alexander Romanov.
3 years ago.
Yeah, well, that's 3 years ago was the last time we had a first-round pick going into the draft time period. We do have a first-round pick going into the draft time period now as well. So I'll be interested to see what we do with it. And it's just really convenient that we're seeing a lot of rumors of Islanders are actively shopping Anders Lee from reliable sources. And then you're seeing that, hey, they're talking to Cheveldayoff. They're interested in a guy like Nikolai Ehlers.
Okay, but everybody is probably interested in a guy like Nikolai Ehlers. Everybody is. He's in the last year of his contract. He wants out of Winnipeg. You wouldn't be a self-respecting general manager if you didn't kick the tires on stuff like that. It's not a surprise to me. I'm going to bet half the teams in the league have inquired about Nikolai Ehlers. Maybe 14 even. Who knows? That doesn't mean that you're getting them.
I like the call back to Maxim Soplakov. Anyway, but how many times have we signed free agents that had no affiliation with the team and just said, hey, we're going to sign you right off the free agent list on July 1st, and you're going to be part of the team? Well, here's our free agent signing, Grumpy. It's trading for Nikolai Ehlers, Grump. That's how we're going to – oh, he's our off-season move. That's what it's going to be.
Okay,
we're going to get rid of Anders Lee, and we're going to bring in Nikolai Ehlers, and we're going to give up draft picks to do it. And we're going to continue to say – be damned to the future. That is what the path we've always been on, and it's going to be the path that I believe we're going to be on until on draft night we use those draft picks to select players.
Okay, so getting rid of Anders Lee and bringing in Nikolai Ehlers, does that make the team better?
Short term, perhaps yes.
The answer is yes. It's okay.
That move is a plus for the team now. As a team as a whole, we're an aged team. Brock Nelson already was showing signs of stepping back last year. How many guys step back and how many guys? Because realistically, right? Matt Barzal's peaked. He is what he is. He'll never get better. He is what he is. And I like Matt Barzal. He is what he is. Noah Dobson, I don't know how much more there is to his game. a 70-point performance last year. I think he took big steps forward in the right direction. I'm not expecting a guy to be like, okay, this guy is a Norris Trophy winner every single year in, year out. It'd be great if he was. I'm not sure how much growth there is left in his game. Nikolai Ehlers is absolutely a plus, no doubt about it, over Anders Lee. But how many other guys take step backwards that are in their 30s? That's the real question. The team may get worse, but that line and that player acquisition absolutely makes the team better. It makes that trade is a plus for the team for now.
Okay. Now, if you're willing to move a JG Pajot or one of our defensemen for Nikolai Ehlers, still keep the draft picks, get rid of Anders Lee and eat some salary, you wouldn't do that? Because I think that's win-win.
How are we going to be able to eat some salary on Anders Lee, bring in a $6 million? Because remember, Nikolai Ehlers makes $1 million more than Jean-Gabriel Pajot does. Pajot makes 5, Nikolai Ehlers makes 6.
Right.
So you're going to trade away his contract, eat some of Anders Lee's contract, sign back the guys, and then take another $1 million on with a Jean-Gabriel Pajot. And how are we going to get Jean-Gabriel? You think Jean-Gabriel Pajot and Nikolai Ehlers is going to be a 1-for-1 trade?
Maybe you throw in a second-round pick for him.
Okay, so we're going to have to give draft capital to get
or a third round. Oh, maybe you know what? Maybe they say, you know what? We need a JG Pajot, and we know that Nikolai Ehlers doesn't want to be here, so we're taking whatever we can get for him. Maybe that's a possibility.
What a repressed market for Nikolai Ehlers things would be then, and maybe that is a possibility that his market's so low. But Jean-Gabriel Pajot had how many points last year? 34, 35, 36, whatever it was.
I don't remember.
Not a lot.
Yeah, all right. He's the third line center. That's what he is. Yeah. That's what he is. I mean, Nikolai Ehlers would make the team better. He absolutely would. If you're moving salary in that deal, it almost adds up. And then you can still get rid of Anders Lee. You'd still have your draft picks. There's a lot of things you can do. Here's the thing. Do I think the old man is capable of doing these things without overpaying? Probably not. But that doesn't mean that it can't happen. I'm interested to see what they do. I think at least this year that they are considering making moves, where in the past they haven't at all in the offseason.
I think we're going to make moves this offseason. I do, right? And we've always been, in years past, we absolutely have said at times, this is a year we do nothing. We're doing nothing. Oh, this is going to happen in the offseason. That's going to happen in the offseason. And we've always been true to what we think, at least the signs show us. Years past, the sign showed us no moves in the offseason, no moves in the offseason, no moves. This year, absolutely, this looks poised to moves in the offseason. I'm not sure how many, the magnitude of the moves either, right? But absolutely, it looks like we are gearing up to make moves in the offseason. That's why I believe we acquired the draft picks. And I think the majority, if not all, those draft picks will be moved to execute the moves and plan. And
I don't think that's why we picked up that extra draft pick. I mean, because let's say Chicago initiated. I thought it was a no-lose deal for the Islanders. No lose.
I think on surface, that's a great move for the Islanders. Yeah. In an isolated bubble, holy crap, you move back. We're a team that has no prospects. We continually give away first-round picks year after year. We trade away Ratu, our second-round picks. Danny Nelson and Samuel Bolduc, I think, are the only second-round picks that we still have on the roster that Lou Lamoriello has drafted. I mean, like, the team does not have a lot of depth in the prospect pool. So gathering another second is absolutely, in my opinion, worth moving back 2 spots in the first round and 4 spots in the second round, in my opinion. But this man has never used his draft picks to actually draft players with the Islanders. That's not changing now as he's an 82-year-old general manager. Sorry, it's just not happening.
Okay.
I think you're just being, I think it's really, it's wishful thinking.
Do you think that our draft picks are worth less because our scouting staff does not seem to be able to identify talent at all?
I'm not sure what point you're trying to get at.
The fact that I think our scouting staff sucks and we're not able to get anyone who's worth anything, no matter where we pick.
So we shouldn't care about draft picks.
Well, I'm just saying, do you think our draft picks are worth to the Islanders worth less because we can't get a Wyatt Johnson or a Jake Ottinger late in the first round, or second round picks like Hintz and or whatever Dallas has done.
Robertson, etc.,
Robertson.
things like
I
that.
mean, these are all guys that were drafted late in the first round or second round that we're just not able to identify those guys. And so, I mean, if you can't even identify who good players are, maybe the picks are worth less. I mean, I think we need a new coach, a new scouting staff. It's been the same guys who've been here forever.
I mean, I will tell you this: they're not going to say, just from a business standpoint, right? Because they really say, "Oh, TJ, they think that they want to go ahead and they would want to rebuild." You're just not thinking from the business standpoint. Well, I do, and I've always explained the reason as to how that works in. But from a business standpoint, if your general manager is trading away your draft picks every single year, well, shit, it's not worth paying a scouting staff top dollar to have the top tier scouting staff if your guy trades away the first and the second round picks every single season.
But maybe you need to get a new lead of the scouting staff. I mean,
what do they do? With this GM, what they do, they put all this work forward. They get all this information for our GM not to use it and then put it to use because he trades the picks away.
These guys have been there since Garth Snow was GM. Same guys. They've been there forever.
About that, but I'm just saying from a business perspective, why as an owner would I'd say if you came up to me and said, "Hey, we want to spend some top dollar to get some guys in to go ahead and help with recruitment and drafting and amateur scouting," I'd be like, "I'm not even using the fucking picks. I'm not giving you dollars to do that."
Do you want to know why Jersey was so good back in the day? Because they had David Conti as in charge of the draft. That's why we don't have David Conti or David Conti type. We got, I don't even know who our guy is, but they've been there forever.
Grumpy. We got Joe Montanazzi.
Joe Montanazzi and Mike the Greek Melaniadis, his assistant. I understand. So, to me, it's like you have those guys and they're not doing the job. They should have been gone long ago, right? So maybe Lou says, well, geez, our first round picks are freaking Simon Holmstrom, or our second round picks are, Danny Nelson or Samuel Bolduc. None of them turn out to be anything. So, I mean, at some point in time, it's like, well, shit, look who we're drafting, or William DeFore, Matthew Maggio, Isaiah George, Calio Dalius. None of them are even close to the NHL. Not even close. If these are your picks, maybe our picks with this particular group of guys who are in the scouting staff aren't worth it. Maybe that's why they moved them. If they're not worth it, if you can't identify talent, what's the difference? Why do you even need the picks then? It'd be like me maybe they're just throwing names at a dartboard.
Who's in charge? Who's in charge of who's hired and who's in that position as our scouting staff? Whose job is that, Grump?
Well, it's the same guys who've been there before Lamarillo's even been there. Same guys. They've been there forever.
No. I'm asking who controls that, you think? Who controls the scouting staff?
Handles everything.
Okay, thank you. That's what I was looking for.
Okay, but maybe, he's like, all right, these guys are nice guys. I know them from 100 years ago. They were good back in the 1800s, so I'm going to keep them. I mean, maybe that's his thought process. I don't want Lamarillo as GM. I'm on the record about that.
I know, but you're supporting him doubling down, trading away draft picks to bring in players that could try to help the team a better team.
All I asked was maybe our draft picks are not as important because we are unable to identify talent. They're worth more to other teams. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. I'm just throwing another scenario out there. It's a long off season. And maybe this year they say, you know what? Screw it. We're just gonna draft these guys, and maybe we're gonna move.
I'd be like a pig in shit. And I told you on the record, if we use the draft picks and select the players, I would absolutely think, okay, gotcha. Either we're having a change of direction and we're no longer Lewis has a stranglehold on the team. But guess what? If we trade away those draft picks, which the rumors are swirling mighty quick, like shit down a toilet bowl, and guess what? If we trade away those draft picks to add to the team to now, to try to make the team a better winner and contender for now, it means that Lou Lamoriello still has a stranglehold on the Islanders franchise. And that's what I'm worried and concerned about. But hey, if we draft those players, Grumpy, we use the first and the 2 seconds, I will be like a pig in shit. I'll be like, fantastic. We may have finally turned the corner. This is a real reason for optimism. I just don't think that's the case.
I think Patrick Roy has input and has say. I think that they're working together, where that was certainly not the case with Lane Lambert.
I hope they're not working together if they say, hey, we're trading away the first and 2 seconds to get rid of Andersley and bring in Nikolai Ehlers.
We don't know what Patrick Roy's mindset is when it comes to roster building. But he certainly wants to build a roster. Absolutely does.
Yeah.
Next GM of the Islanders, Patrick.
But yeah, those are the rumors, right? We're going to be potentially trading away, or it looks like a strong likelihood that we're going to be trading away maybe a guy like Anders Lee, or a guy who takes up cap. And we're going to be probably trying to knock on the door to see what Nikolai Ehlers' contract, or Nikolai Ehlers looks like in a trade. He wants out. He said he will not sign back with Winnipeg. It's going to come with a future extension, right? A trade for Nikolai Ehlers probably comes with a 7 or an 8-year contract extension, right? Until he's 36 years old, perhaps. So that comes with the territory.
He'll be 28 next year.
He's 28 in like a month.
Okay, so he'll be 28 next year.
If he's signing, he's got 1 year left on the contract, so that will be 29 by the time period his contract extension kicks in. If he signs a 7 or 8 year deal, he'll be at a spot where he's either 36 or 37 years old by the time the contract ends.
Okay, 35 or 36. Okay,
that's 36 or 30. No. What? No, 36 or
28 next year.
He'll be 28 on the last year of his contract. Then
his game is going to age more gracefully than, let's say, a Bo Horvat, just because of the way they play stylistically.
Sure, I think maybe. Now, he's a guy who's had some injuries too, but here's the Nikolai Ehlers absolutely would be a big plus as a trade, right? If you have to give up draft pieces, but after the draft pieces are gone, essentially you removed an Anders Lee off the roster and replaced him with a Nikolai Ehlers. That absolutely is a big win for the production and performance as of right now. It is. But then it just continues to feed in more of the, okay, now we go potentially 5 years without a first-round pick, and we've had 1 or 2 second-round picks in a span of 5 years that we still have with the organization. It's just, man, oh, man, you want to talk about really running the wells dry. It's like we're waiting for the rains in Africa to come, Grumpy. We're gonna just living in the desert, living in a desolate wasteland, Grump.
Okay, but let's say that they realize that they're not contenders for a Stanley Cup. Ownership realizes, but they want to keep fans in the seats. What's the thing I always say? If you're not going to be good, you have to be exciting and fun to watch to get people to go to games.
Yep.
So to me, it's torture watching Islander games right now. It has been for the last number of years. When you're winning, it's okay. When you're, in charge of the suck zone or right in the middle of the suck zone, it's not pleasant. Just squeaking into the playoffs, playing a hard to watch brand of hockey I don't think a lot of fans like to do that. So maybe they figure, okay, well, let's bring in Ehlers. At least that first line is going to be exciting. We can bring a little bit more exciting. And remember, Patrick Roy also believes, he likes to have the aggressive forecheck, everybody pressing up. That's what he likes. The way our roster is currently set up, we don't have a whole lot of those type players. And you're not going to get them in one fell swoop. So maybe it's just part of the transition to a whole different style that Patrick Roy likes to coach. That's another possibility as well.
Grump, we have so many of these older guys and vets that are tied to 7 or 8 year contracts. Doesn't matter what, that style won't work. You're not going to be able to get rid of these guys. You're giving away full no trade clauses, or by the time period, their 4 years of the full no trade clause is gone. Then you got a 16-team modified no trade clause for the next 4, and you have a whole bunch of 33 and 34-year-olds having 4 years left on their contract with 4 year, with 16-team no trade clauses. Doesn't matter how he's going to want to play. It's just not going to be possible with this team. I just don't think it is.
But if you want to make change, you just have to start making change.
If you want to make change, you have to start by this offseason, not trading away your draft picks and look.
There are other ways to make changes. There's not just one way. And I want to do the draft pick thing. But here's the thing. If, from what everyone says, they want to make sure, the ownership wants to make sure there's fans in the seats. Well, what better way to do that? To have yourself a first line wing, which they've never had since they've owned the team.
They do have a first line winger.
Not really. No, they have.
There's also first line.
Okay, a full first. No, it was Barzell and whoever. Now it's Horvat, Barzell, and the fill in the blank left wing. That's just what it was. It's Holmstrom. It's Lee. It's Gauthier. It's whoever. Not good enough is what it is. That's maybe so they want to solidify that first line. Maybe that's something they want to do because they want to keep fannies in the seats. Maybe. Who knows?
So they want to keep fannies in the seats and then make this continue to just decimate the prospect pool to where you're going to have a real time period of reckoning. And then there's no one, and I mean no one in the stands. It's like plastic, it's like trash bags on your head type of territory. They're happy with that. It's like San Jose Sharks territory. If that's what they want, have at it.
Well, I don't
want to go San Jose Sharks territory. That's what we're fucking looking at.
Okay,
look they're what the not San Jose Sharks did.
Okay,
same shit, same thing.
You realize they're not there yet, right?
No, that's the path. That's the path. That's a path they want to be on. Continuing to double down to try to make the team better for right now, to try to keep things entertaining or try to win games when we haven't had a first-round pick in our last 4 years. You're going to see really quickly how quick you can go to San Jose territory. That's all. San Jose did the same thing. Oh man, we're so close. At least San Jose, they made it to a cup, didn't they? They lost in the Stanley Cup Finals, but at least they made it to a Stanley Cup. But San Jose was like, we got to sign back Erik Karlsson. We got to sign back Brett Burns. We got to sign back Marc-Eduardo Vlasic. We got to sign back Couturier. We got to sign back every single one of their players were irreplaceable, right? But guess what? They started signing the old age veterans back. And over time, it started to show, and they fell off the cliff. It's going to happen to us too.
It happens with every team, but maybe they're trying to transition away. Maybe they're starting the transition. It's honestly, it's 2 years too late. We've already talked about that. I'm not going back into the past.
You can still this offseason not sign back Brock Nelson or Kyle Palmieri and trade them at the deadline.
Well, maybe that's what they are going to do. Now, here's the thing.
That doesn't help keep fannies in the seats and things excited if you trade away Brock Nelson and Kyle Palmieri at the trade deadline.
Oh, that's not true.
That's not true. Trading Kyle Palmieri and Brock Nelson make the team better.
If you're get rid of those guys at the deadline, that means your season is pretty much gone off the rails because that's the only way I think they get dealt. But here's the thing. I don't think trading those guys in the offseason, you don't get anything worth the value that you'll get at the deadline.
Full stop. So only way that happens. So let's say they don't get dealt. We're giving them extensions, right? Or are we going to let them walk for free?
Well,
so we're doubling down on the same shit, giving guys in their 30s long-term contracts. We're going to let them walk for free. Lou doesn't let people walk for free, so he's giving them extensions, hanging them out. Let's give some no-trade clauses away, too.
Okay. I'd be pissed through the roof if they sign those guys to extensions.
What has Lou done every fucking offseason? Every year he does the same thing. He's going to do it again.
But I don't think here's the thing.
This is a banana in the tailpipe. I feel like we're getting the banana in our tailpipe.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to wait until he actually does
something. Right in the tailpipe.
Okay, I'm going to wait till something actually happens. I don't think he's in charge of everything. Everything has to be run through Patrick Waugh.
Everything's being run through Patrick Waugh. There it is. Right. Okay.
There it is.
Look, he says everything's run through Patrick Waugh.
And if he says, hey, I'm going to re-sign this guy and this guy and this guy, Patrick says, they're not going to be with the team in a couple of years.
He says, okay, Patrick. Whoa, buddy. We're going to bow down to Patrick Waugh.
I think that it's more of a in it together thing as opposed to just Lou dictating. That's what I feel. Patrick Waugh is going to be the new GM. After next year, he will be the new GM. So everything, I'm not saying that he has all overseeing power, but I think everything has to be agreed upon by both parties. That's what I feel.
Everything gets run through Patrick Waugh. I
would be astonished. I would be astonished if they sign back Palmieri and Nelson this offseason. First of all, they don't have the money for it. I mean,
next year, Grumpy, their contracts they got when you let them.
But they only have like $20 million next year. That's all they have next year.
Guess what we'll have next year? A first-round pick to trade away a bad contract with. Do you not see the path that we're on?
Okay. Like I said, I'm going to wait. Because there are other ways out of this. Like I said, you're just not bright enough to comprehend there's more than one way of doing something.
There are different ways to get out of this. Lou Lamoriello has shown very consistent. All I'm saying is this, and I've said it all the time. Lou Lamoriello has consistently shown a very distinct pattern of how he wants things to be done and what he thinks about the team. Until he shows me that he has a different thought process with his actions, hell, maybe even his words, he still believes in the core of this team. I still believe in the core of this team. Guess what? I'm going to think that we're still doing the same exact shit that we've been doing.
Maybe
That's
he's
what I'm
not
going
in
to do.
charge anymore. Maybe Patrick Wild's already running the show.
Yeah, he's running the show, and he's getting Lou's a little puppet.
He tells Lou what to do. Hey, puppet boy, get me some extra picks.
As he says, hey, puppet boy, put 2 cubes of sugar in there with my coffee. Is that what he tells him, Grump?
That's what he does. He sticks his arm up his butt and he goes, bop, 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 bop. He works his little mouth for him. Patrick Waugh has more say than you think.
I think Patrick Waugh has no input on player personnel decisions and what happens with draft picks and what happens with the future of this team. Patrick Waugh, I think, has say when it comes to who's on his coaching staff. Lane Lambert didn't have say in that, but I think Patrick Waugh, wow, so much. Wow. Thank you, oh gracious Lou, for allowing your head coach to pick assistant coaches that he's going to mesh well with. I think Patrick Waugh has say in his assistant coaches, and that's it. That's it.
I still believe he was signed to this team with the agreement that he's taking over as general manager. That's just what I feel. That's why he was hired here, was to take over as GM.
He might take over as GM, but here's the thing. He's going to inherit an absolute shit show. I think he's got no.
What does he care? He's back in the NHL. He's not riding the bus to Mississauga. Okay, he's in the NHL. He's taking a plane somewhere now.
You ideally don't want to.
He's not out there changing a freaking tire, in 40-degree weather. He's not doing that anymore. He's in the NHL. He's back in the NHL.
Sunny and 40.
There you go.
Oh man, if you're going to take a GM job, you don't want it to be a GM job that's doomed for failure.
When you are not in the NHL and you've been out of the NHL for 6-8 years, you're taking any job you can get, and it's gravy because you've wanted to be a GM. That's what he wanted. That's why he left Colorado. He didn't have any input on player personnel. He says he doesn't want it. I think he's full of shit. That is exactly what he wants. He wants to be running the team, not behind the bench, blinking like this, like he was during the playoffs. That's the one thing he doesn't want. His wife's like, all right, it's coming back.
Do you think
he got the freaking blinks like he used to have in net?
Do you think as GM he'll still have the blinks if they pan over to him?
They'll be behind closed doors. You won't see it as much. But on the bench,
Timo Meyer, Bo Horvat, like that one fan who did it years ago. He'd give him the blinks as he's looking up at him. Oh man. Well, let's do this here, Grumpy. Let's read our ad there from today here. And then we'll start getting into some comments. Today, our sponsor is DraftKings.
I didn't realize we had DraftKings still as the sponsor. Okay.
Yeah. Who knows? I'll tell you about it later.
Okay.
We're close to crowning the Stanley Cup champion. And with the action heating up on the ice, it's even hotter at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. If you're new to DraftKings, listen up. New customers can get a no-sweat bet of up to $1,500. Holy shit. Just deposit at least $5 and you'll get a bonus bet back equal to your first bet if it doesn't hit. It's pretty neat. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the promo code THPN. Again, that's promo code THPN for new customers to get a no sweat bet of up to $1,500. If your first bet doesn't hit, only on DraftKings, the crown is yours. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In West Virginia, you can visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, you can call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available if you have a gambling problem. Call 888-79-7777 or visit ccpg.org. And on behalf of the Boot Hill Casino and Resort, you must be 21 years or older, but age varies by jurisdiction. It's void in Ontario. Yes, again, there is one no sweat bet per new customer issued as one bonus bet based on amount of the initial losing bet. The bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. So it's cdkng.com/ice for eligibility, wagering, and deposit restrictions, terms, or responsible gambling resources.
Not as smooth as the previous ones have been. I'm just saying.
They gave it to me like in the smallest freaking text text available, and yeah, so I'm over here. I was giving my Patrick Waugh. I was giving the squints over here,
Blinks.
the blinks, in order to see the words. Nick D, grumpy old man.
Grumpy, TJ, Sun X, how you guys doing tonight? No Sun X today, by the way. TJ is late. TJ is early. No happiness in between. Podcast from Fire Lou Lamorello and his son Fredo.
Yeah, X is he's
Mike,
over
you don't talk to a man like Bo Green like that.
He's over in UK. X is, so he went to go see the Champions League, but didn't even see it. Anyway, Jake K says here, please, hockey gods, deliver us from evil tonight. That'd be nice.
Thank you.
Frank K said the Rangers are winning the series. I think the big guns show up when it matters. They've come back all year. So I was about to say they've had the most comeback wins in the NHL this season. They did win the President's Trophy. Depending how Shesterkin plays, I could see them winning this game on the road, and it's Game 7 in Madison Square Garden. We'll see how it goes.
You were adamant they were winning the series, as I remember now.
You guys thought it was going to be quick work, and I said this team's a lot better.
Nobody said that. I said Florida's winning the series.
If you go back and listen to the 2 podcasts ago, I kept saying multiple times ad nauseum, this Rangers team is a lot better than most Islander fans, including you, are giving them credit.
You said they were winning. I said Florida's winning.
I thought they were winning the this season.
Guaranteed.
Grumpy, you better hope that they don't come back, Grumpy, after all this shit you're talking. You better hope that.
Big deal. What's going to happen? Nick D says, F the Lamanites. Let's destroy the Lamanites.
Flex crew, Grump.
Grumpy makes his weekly tweet, and it's about basketball. Shake my head, Grumpy. We want a hockey tweet as well. There was no agreement on what type of sport I would comment on. Like I said, I'm going to be making another tweet tonight after this to congratulate Real Madrid Football Club for winning their sixth Champions League title in 10 years, 10 or 11 years. Since 2014, they've won 6. And you know what they've done? They had an older roster, and they were able to transform that team by going after younger players. As guys get 30 years old, you know what they do? 1-year deals. You don't like it? Hit the bricks. And they just move on.
For European soccer, it also helps that there's no salary cap, that there's no soccer draft. So you just recruit players and you pay them to join your club. Man, there's a lot of things that would be pretty nice that don't have salary cap restrictions.
And they're 19th in the world in salary. So what their expenditures are. So, that doesn't really hold water. Sorry. They know what the hell they're doing there.
There's no salary cap restrictions in soccer.
Yeah.
There are none. And there's no wage restrictions there. And there's no draft.
No, there are. Your salary cannot expend what
financial fair play.
What money you bring
in. If you make more money, you can sign more expensive players. There are no restrictions, Grump.
Well, here's the thing. What Real does is they sign young players on the cheap. And then when the guys get older, they phase them out and let the young players take over their spots. That's the way it should be run. And you cannot spend any more money than what you bring in. And they don't do that. They're the best run club in the world in any sport. I'm going to say in any sport. They're just that damn good.
Look at him.
Congratulations, Real Madrid.
Yeah, Grumpy. I agree. Flex, hold on. Flex, I agree, though. Grumpy should tweet about hockey-related items and not his stupid shit that he tweets about. What did you tweet about most recently, Grump?
I said I was talking about the finals being between the Celtics and the Mavericks, and it's like, man, Kyrie is like rejuvenated. He and Luka Doncic. I mean, I think Boston's probably a better team, but what a story. Kyrie going back to Boston, and, can they get over the hump? Like I said, if you're not a Boston fan, I don't see how you're not rooting for the Dallas Mavericks. I know I am.
Make your tweets about hockey, Grumpy. I agree, Flex. Nick D said, Grumpy, the NHL analyst and expert and future teller, Grumpsterdamus.
Thank you, Nick.
Frank V.
Watt must choose his assistant coaches. Our power play isn't good, and our penalty kill is dreadful. Our players suck. That is the problem. That is the problem. It is not the coaches. It is the players. I've been saying it for years. Not the coaches. It's the players. That's on the GM. The future GM is going to have to make some changes. How do you want?
Here you go. Jazz, Grumpy.
Would you agree, yes or no, that any player less than a Steven Stamkos quality won't help us do anything?
Steven Stamkos won't. I mean, they'll help us be better now, but I mean, like Stamkos doesn't help us win a cup. We're not good enough. We're so far away. Nikolai Ehlers doesn't help us win a cup. When
No.
you watch them play out there, just watch. Like, think about it. Like, do we match up against the Florida Panthers in a best-of-7 series? Do we match up against the Rangers in a best-of-7 series? How about the Edmonton Oilers or the Dallas Stars? Like, you could look at so many of those teams and be like, yeah, we don't match up. And it's the reason why we lost in the first round, and we have lost in the first round or not made the playoffs the last 3 years in a row.
We know we don't match up with Carolina, right? So, and now here's the thing. Edmonton, right now we don't match up with Edmonton, but the previous iterations of Edmonton where they just play absolutely no defense, yeah, we match up with them pretty well, I think, because we were pretty solid defensively. But this current iteration, no chance. And then you looked at Winnipeg. Do we match up with Winnipeg? No. Do we match up with Vegas? No. I mean, there are none of the teams in the West we match up with, honestly. I mean, the only team we were better than in this year's playoffs was Washington. The only team. We don't, and I agree. I agree with you, TJ. It's Stamkos isn't the answer. Why would he come to Long Island? Why would he go there? He wants to play in Tampa. If Tampa can find a way to get him to take less salary and fit him under their cap, they'll absolutely do that.
Yeah, I think he's still trying to win a Stanley Cup. That's not.
It's
the reason Zach Parise didn't sign here, because he didn't think the Islanders had a shot in hell to win a Stanley Cup.
He knew they did.
If I come back, I'm only coming back to the Islanders. It's going to be after a playoff push to try to win a Stanley Cup. Oh, that's the only team I could play for is the Islanders, and I want to have just one more shot maybe to win a cup, but I need some time to think it over. As soon as he goes out there and says, I'm on the market to be able to sign, I'm not going to go to the Islanders. I'm going to sign with the Colorado Avalanche. Yeah,
what's the old saying? It's not about the names on the back. It's the logo on the front. I don't believe anything that any player says. They're always looking for the most money they can get. Like Pierre Engvall. It's the only reason he's here. He couldn't believe that contract that Lamoriello gave him. Stunned. He was stunned. I'll never forget that press conference. I'm like, holy shit. He was looking at a 2-year deal. He thought, Mel, maybe 2 years, $2 million per, $21 million bucks. A matter of fact, I bet you signed somebody else's name because he was in such a panic.
Oh man, here we go. Let's continue on here.
Where do I sign, Lou? No. I don't need to think about it. Let me sign right now.
Nick D says everyone was cringe that
Mitch Korn joined the Predators. Good for him. Jumped this sinking ship.
I mean, that doesn't shock me, right? He's always worked hand in hand with Barry Trotz. Maybe he's just like, it's time for me to go. I mean, here's the other thing too. Who knows what it's like being a goalie coach when you have a Hall of Fame goalie who's probably coming in, probably trying to make some input and decisions as to what you do. Here's the results speak for themselves for Mitchell Korn. He doesn't need Patrick Waugh to tell him or anybody else to tell him what to do. The results speak for themselves. And
Pierre Greco is the still goaltending coach for the Islanders.
Yeah. But Mitch Korn left. He went there to Nashville. Good for him.
But he's always worked under Barry Trotz, right?
Barry Trotz has been gone for 2 years, and he's been here for the last 2.
Well, he's probably was under contract with the Islanders, and they weren't letting him go. That's probably what it was.
Yeah. I'm going to say maybe it's probably something else. Wicked Cal says, what's going on, guys? What's up, Wicked Cal? Jazz says here, the Canucks will get Nietzsche's. For real.
I don't know what makes people say that.
Brett W says, wait, TJ's early? I know, it's a shock. It's a shock. Freedom Fund Adventure, Grumpy.
Father's Day is in 15 days. I don't know about that. 2024, the year the old man finally scores. Probably not.
Oh, man. I got a comment here from JEPE.
Chris Knobloch has done a great job with Edmonton. I was totally wrong about him, and Coffee, too. Got to give credit where credit's due.
I was wrong about him too. I was like, on the surface, I'm like, holy shit, they're just hiring the old buddy for him. I'm like, I said, this is going to end in calamity. And you've seen different results, and it's been great for them.
Yep.
Good for them.
And defensively, they're better, but they weren't defensively better in season. This is like just now. They were still giving up a boatload of goals in the postseason.
Well, Grumpy, that's because you need more games in order to see what a new coach can do. And that's why we should run back the same roster with Patrick Waugh, because Patrick Waugh, with the full offseason and preseason of coaching, we're going to see different results on the ice, Grump.
Well,
that's the point where the Lamanites are at currently.
It helps when you have McDavid and Draisaitl. I'm just saying that.
And also, you got 2 future first ballot Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, there it is. Got a comment here from Ryan Jack.
Assuming the Islanders keep the first, I think they will. Who would you want at that spot? Yeah, it's too early.
I haven't. You want to know how confident I feel we're trading that pick away? I haven't even looked at the draft prospects yet this year. I remember. Do you remember the last one back in the 2022 NHL draft? We traded for Romanov. Man, I knew exactly the players to pick. Players that could possibly fall to us, good value picks. All to be pissed away on trading for a positionally irresponsible defenseman.
13 is different than 20, though.
Yep.
20,
yeah.
I mean, 20 is really out there.
You could find guys where it's like, hey, we drafted the guy who was supposed to go late in the second round, like Simon Holmstrom was.
Or it could be anybody who's, okay, he's ranked as number 10, slips to 20, like Brad Lambert did that year. Or the Islanders totally go off the board and take a injury-prone guy from Sweden, sells soft serve ice cream, who's projected to be a late second rounder, burn a first-round pick when there's talent out there at that particular time.
Man, if we were just asking, trade up, get Brad Lambert, Brad Lambert.
You didn't have to trade up to get Brad Lambert.
We didn't have a draft pick.
You could have traded down and still got Brad Lambert.
That's right. That was the same. Yeah, that's right. Could have got him, traded back. Yeah, you're right.
Frank Nazar was another guy.
He was picked at our selection.
Yes.
David DeJesu, Grump.
Hey, guys, are we doing anything this offseason? Do you see us trading any of our 3 picks? TJ says we're trading all of our 3 picks.
Two or possibly all 3 of them.
I'm going to pump the brakes on that a little bit. I want to see what actually happens. I'm just
like your opinion. What's your opinion, Grump?
I think that they want to make a move for Ehlers. They're going to have to move salary. So maybe you move a player for Ehlers, and maybe you burn a second-round pick and eat some cap to move Anders Lee. That still leaves you with a first and a second, and you've got the way better player in Ehlers. That's what I think. That's what I hope anyway.
Got a comment here from Freedom, Fun, and Adventure.
Can we trade TJ to the Rangers podcast? He loves talking about his favorite team. I'm delighted if the Rangers lose and are eliminated.
Yeah, the Rangers are definitely not my favorite team. I will tell you this. I'd love to have Lafreniere on our team. Holy
is that
shit.
little baby in the room?
No.
Oh.
I tell you this much. I'd love to have Lafreniere on our team. Absolutely love to have him on our team.
How about, would you trade a first-round pick for Trevor Zegras?
Sure.
I would too. So here's the thing. I'm willing to move a first-round draft pick to get a young guy like that. And would you move?
Nikolai Ehlers is not young.
What's he, 23?
Nikolai Ehlers?
I mean, but okay. You wouldn't trade a first-round pick for Zegras, a second-round pick, and a contract for Ehlers, and then move another second-round pick to dump Anders Lee? I would do that in a second.
Oh, it's only going to cost a second-round pick to dump 2 years left at $7 million per for Anders.
And you eat some salary.
Nikolai Ehlers is going to be, what is it? You said a second-round pick, and who else for Nikolai Ehlers?
Maybe a Pajot or a Pulak or a Pellick, somebody like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
living in dreamland.
Well, maybe I am. But those are the type of moves I'm looking to make. I want to make the team better and younger. That's what I want. And our scouting staff is not good enough.
JP Grumpy.
Peter Laviolette is really a good head coach, too. Wong said, should have listened to him instead of Milbury, of course. Wong did everything wrong and for the wrong reasons. So that was what it was. Yuck. Well, here's the thing. Charles Wong didn't want to spend any money, period. Yep. JP says, Laviolette told Wong that they didn't have the talent to go far in the tournament before they got shit rolled by Ottawa. Well, that's true.
Yeah. Let's continue on here. Got a comment there from Bed and Blanket.
An Islanders representative called me for season tickets and asked me for my opinion on the team. And trust me, I did you guys proud. Told them your boss needs to go. Good job. Good job. That's what you know what they need to hear that. They need to hear that. They really do.
Oh man. Oh yeah. We got Nikolai Ehlers, man. Yeah. He's the new face. Who do you think gets the captain then, Grumpy? We can't trade away the captain.
Why not?
They can. It sends a bad message, Grump. What was it that Arthur Staples said years ago?
Yeah, you can't trade the captain 2 years in a row. I'm like, why not? Or you can't let the captain go 2 years in a row. Why not? Why not? Well, it doesn't look good. I don't give a shit. I mean, Anders Lee was never the answer. And I mean, I hated that disingenuous answer by Arthur Staples. You can't let go of the captain 2 years in a row. It's a bad look. A bad look. Having him signed to your team for 7 years is worse.
Oh, man.
I was right again.
Johnny Mack.
Cross-check on McDavid was that great ref, Kelly Sutherland. Of course it was. Kelly Sutherland's a shitty referee.
I wouldn't be shocked at all if he's been compromised by sports gambling. Not at all. Remember, we love Kelly Sutherland. He lets everybody play. But for whatever reason, a lot of times this year he starts calling things where it's like, that's a really questionable call here. You're calling shit really, really strict, but you're known as the guy who lets them play out there. No freaking way. I think he's compromised by sports betting, Grumpy. That's what I think it is. Freedom of adventure.
I like hiring Sorokin's goalie coach. Less certain about Chris Terreri moving to goalie director, but as Leonard said, Greco is the man who works the most with the goalies. Korn was more film work. That's fine. I mean, I have no problem with them bringing in Sorokin's goalie coach. I'm on the record of saying I don't think Wah and Sorokin get along for whatever reason.
Well, I hope they get along because he's here for the long term, and in your situation, he's the new GM, so better hope they get along.
Well, but as a GM, he's not going to have as much day-to-day with Sorokin.
Okay. JP Grump.
Do you guys think that the hiring of Chris Terreri, another ex-Devil, show that Lou is running the organization from the crypt? No. I think I just, again, devilitis. It's you just want to be a loser.
Lou runs this organization. Every part of this organization goes through him. He has complete and total control and autonomy over anything that is related to the Islanders franchise. He maybe gives some people the illusion that they have some sort of say, but they absolutely don't. A bed and blanket, Grump.
Try telling me that anything can happen next year, and I said the only thing that will happen is our inconsistent roster and not good enough roster just got a year older. Anything can happen. I wonder if he said it like that.
Yep, anything can happen.
But you know what else is going to happen? I'm not renewing my season tickets. Guess what just happened? No season tickets.
Oh man, there we go. And here you go, Freedom Fun Adventure.
Watch how physical the playoffs are, and you will quickly conclude the Islanders are not built for playoff success. Not that they enjoy much success in the regular season either. That's correct. The players have been really physical.
Oh man, yeah,
and Florida's a physical team.
Florida's a dirty team.
They're physical.
I think Rangers have dirty players too. I think Trouba's a dirty bastard.
They're physical. You didn't see hockey.
They're dirty.
You didn't see hockey in the early 2000s, 80s, and 90s.
Grumpy.
No, just physical.
You know, guess what? They don't still officiate games like hockey was played in the 60s or the 70s. And it's not like, oh, well, it's so close because you remember the 60s or 70s. No, they officiate the games with how the rules and the confines are set up now. So the game is completely different. You can't go ahead and destroy people and slam them from behind the boards and hit open ice hits when the guys have their heads down and send them to the hospital over here, Grumpy.
Guys were hitting the boards from behind. They get hit boards from behind way more now than they used
to. David Jesu.
I do not think Anders Lee is going anywhere this season. Lee just won a trophy and also the captain. What trophy did he win?
He won the King Clancy. Oh, excuse me, sorry. He won the King Clancy trophy.
God.
For being a great teammate or whatever the hell that trophy stands for. Like a steward. It's like the loser award. Like, hey, we wanted to give you a little award.
I cook a mean barbecue. I cook a mean hamburger and steak.
I think Lou Lamoriello pulled his strings and gave him the King Clancy in order to increase his trade value. I will tell you from a very reliable source, absolutely, they've been talking about actively shopping Anders Lee. As
for Pajot, I do think we have to trade a second and a fourth to move him off the cap. I disagree with that.
David Jesu Grump.
Either way, a player on our roster needs to be moved. Noah Dobson next year is an RFA, is getting $7.5 million at least, and 2025-26 we have $30 million of cap space. Well, that's now. Guess what? We had a shitload of cap space going into last offseason too, but we re-signed uh, all the guys who were RFAs, right? All the guys who were UFAs, Engvall, Mayfield, and Varlamov. Think about that. Think about how much money that came off the cap. We had something like almost 20 million, and those guys came off. We had nothing.
We feel like we can't ever part ways with our players. Now, I'll tell you this: I'm shocked, and I mean absolutely shocked. No Dob's going to make more than $7.5 million a year.
I agree.
He'd have to not sign a contract this summer. He'd have to wait till the last year, right? Wait till next offseason to sign, and he'd have to play 0 games or play so poorly where he's like, oh, I've got 10 points this season. I mean, he had 70 points last year. He's going to get freaking paid more than fans would be happy about, just because that's how the production would indicate.
He went 49, 53, 70. And what gets you paid as a defenseman in the end?
53, 49, 70.
Okay. Oh, what gets you paid in the NHL as a defenseman?
Scoring points.
The points.
He plays on the penalty kill. He plays on the power play, and he was injured towards the tail end of the year, and he had 70 points, the most points an Islander defenseman's had since Dennis Potvin. He's going to get paid.
You paid Bo Horvat $8.5 million. He got outproduced by Noah Dobson.
Less point total for Bo Horvat this year than defenseman Noah Dobson.
Yeah.
Freedom Fund Adventure.
Whispers Kachuk in Ottawa is available. I can't believe that. GM denied it, but if remotely possible, something must make that happen. Ukes?
If it's remotely possible, we got to trade away picks. Get Kachuk here.
Mega deal for him. Pinto Chychrun. Yes, that means trading Nelson, Palmieri, and 4 assets, but worth it. What makes you think anyone wants Nelson and Palmieri and any of our assets? We have no assets. A deal like that means you have to give up Noah Dobson and, okay, so you're talking Kachuk, Chychrun, and Pinto. Okay, those 3 guys. That means Matty B goes back the other way, Noah Dobson, and maybe 2 firsts. Is that what you want to do? I don't know about that.
Rick Rock, Grumpy.
Thoughts on Sergei Naumov's, Ilya's old CSK Moscow goalie coach, joining the Islanders organization? Makes some sense, but Bridgeport, Terreri gets promoted? Strange.
Well, that's what I was about to mention. I'm like, people are like, oh, we're bringing his old goalie coach. I'm like, he's going to be in Bridgeport. How often do you think he's going to hang out with his old goalie coach?
Not too often.
It's a dump in Bridgeport. Robin Sallo's told us so. Absolute dump in Bridgeport.
Robin Sallo, who's he?
I don't remember who Robin Sallo.
He was erased from Islander history.
Oh man, yes. So I don't know. I don't. Yeah, I don't think he has any impact. Like, people are making a lot bigger deal of, oh man, this is a great move by Lou. But this is a master class. That's what Phil likes to say. Everything's a master class. It's a Lou Lamoriello master class. I'm like, how much interaction do you think?
I've never seen a GM whose team sucks so bad and people just think he's great.
Who the hell was the guy? Remind me his name for I don't know. I'm blanking.
Oh, wait, I have Steve Eisner.
Hurricanes. No, Grump. Hurricanes. Who was the Hurricanes' old GM?
Don Waddell.
Waddell. That's exactly right. So his team over the last few years the last 3 years has had an immense amount more success than the Islanders have had. Eastern, right? Eastern Conference Finals runs. They advance one round of the playoffs and then they lose. He wants a contract extension. They don't want to pay him what he wants. He leaves. They mutually part ways. See you later.
That's right.
We're not liking. Hey, even though you made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, even though, hey, you ran across the brick wall that was Florida, and you beat the Islanders pretty handily, and you didn't have a goalie. Really, that's what stopped you probably from being more successful in the postseason. You put your eggs in injured bad goalie Freddie Anderson at this point, but no, they said see you later.
They got the Tulsky kid just steps right in, no problem.
They're not. Oh, we can't lose Lou Lamoriello. We can't lose Don Waddell. We can't lose him.
Yeah, I mean, Carolina is light years better than the Islanders.
And they run much better from top to bottom.
Yeah. Their minor league system is freaking loaded. They got $30 million in cap space. They have to make some moves this offseason. They're not a perfect team, but you know what? I like the young guys at GM. I find it. Why are they going to move Natchez? Why would they move him? They don't need to.
Oh, he's a Long Island boy, Grumpy. He wants to head back to Long Island.
No, he doesn't. He just
I've
goes back
never
and
heard
visits
anybody
his mom
say,
and
"I
dad.
want to play for the Islanders." I wonder why that is. I've never heard that. Wouldn't it just be nice to be like, man, I grew up an Islander fan. And I want to play for the Islanders.
Yeah, well, not happening.
Be nice. Here you go. Boney Boy Curtis.
Hey guys, I wish my life wasn't as hectic or chaotic to enjoy the show or play of hockey in general right now.
Well, Boney Boy, hopefully it goes smooth for you, man. Freedom from Adventure says here, Tampa has Jeannot available as offense doesn't exist, but like he did in Nashville, physicality and probably a Patrick Wall type player. The Islanders should pressure Pelech and Pulak to waive their no trade clauses.
Okay, Pelech and Pulak are worth more than Jeannot. They just are. Now, here's the thing. Absolutely, I have no problem moving both of those guys off the team. Save the Islanders a lot of money over a lot of years.
Jazz Grumpy.
We're not getting anything but a lower six guy. I seriously doubt Ehlers or Natchez or any other top guy. I could see them going after Ehlers, but like I said, every team is going to go after Ehlers, and I don't think the Islanders have enough to offer.
I think the GMs that want to go after Ehlers are GMs that want to sign him to an extension, right? Do you agree on that?
Yeah.
And the only GM who, anytime he trades for somebody, gives them an immediate extension is Lou Lamoriello. So I think we fit what they're looking for as well, because he just wants to get paid. He doesn't give a shit about winning cups. I'll be honest with you. Nikolai Ehlers is not like, man, I'm upset. I want to win a cup. I want to get paid. I want to get paid. I want to get paid. That's what he wants.
Maybe he just doesn't want to be in Winnipeg.
Okay.
I mean,
Freedom from Adventure, though, Grump.
Elliot Friedman would beat the ever-living hell out of TJ, and I would love to see it. Wah is telling Lou who he wants and who sucks hard. That I 100% agree.
I'm going to put a lot of doubt in that one on Elliot Friedman.
I mean, I just think it's fair to say that Wah is telling Lou what he wants, what he thinks he needs to make his system work. And I mean, that's why I think he came in. And Lou is trying his best to give him what he wants.
Yeah, I don't think Lou gives two shits about. I think he's going to ask, right? Okay, all head coaches are going to have some sort of relationship with the GM. To say that, he's asking, what type of players do you want, Grumpy? To say that he has say, or he has some sort of control, or he has some sort of say so, that means, hey, I want Nikolai Ehlers. Go get him for me. Okay, we'll see what we can do.
I think he has input. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Well, I think Brad Lambert had none.
You mean Lane Lambert?
Lane Lambert. Brad Lambert didn't either.
Well, yeah, Lane Lambert didn't even get to pick
anybody named Lambert. Louis Lambert.
Lambert didn't even get to pick his coaching staff.
Right.
So Lambert had but most relationships are like this. Most relationships between a GM and a head coach is, hey, I want to know what you're trying to do to make the team better, and that's my job, is to pick those pieces up. If you're saying that he has a functional, normal relationship as a head coach and GM, I think that's nothing to write home about. Lou still does everything and controls everything. But if you're just saying, they talk to each other about what they need, I don't think that's necessarily like perplexing, where it's like, I couldn't believe that. It's just, I think that it's probably just a normal and maybe working relationship. Okay. I don't think that's anything to write home about then, Grump. Drew L. Grumpy.
With the 20th pick in the NHL draft, the Islanders, a.k.a. Lou, selects Simon Holmstrom Jr. They need to draft somebody who's got some high-end talent.
Yeah, well, we don't care about that. Anyway, David Jesse.
Knowing that all over social media rumors have been we're going for Nikolai Ehlers, Lou will not do it now. If we do anything, it'll be for a player no one ever thought about. Maybe he's going to sign Vladimir Tretiak back.
Remember last time when everybody's saying we're linked to Bo Horvat, linked to Bo Horvat, linked to Bo Horvat, we did that too. I don't think, maybe that was made a little bit in jest because Lou does like to be an absolute wild card when it comes to moves. We just know that they absolutely are interested. We're not sure that how serious they are, but they've absolutely inquired about him. Freedom Fun Adventure.
If Noah Dobson would commit to the weight room, he could greatly improve. Dobson losing physical battles leads directly to goals against. Pulak is from Winnipeg. I disagree. I think Noah Dobson I think he was hurt at the end of the year, upper body injury, because early in the year, no one took the puck away from him. He's just so good. You don't need to run a guy through the boards to control the puck.
He's
Go ahead.
I was about to say he's a pigeon-chested 24-year-old man. He's never going to carry mass on his body. He just won't. He does need to get in better shape, but he's a young man. He's 24 years old.
A baby.
Yeah.
And he's a young 24 physically.
He'll be, by the time he's 26, 27, 28, he'll be, I mean, he'll be a rock star out there, even more so than he is now.
He's a guy who's going to play till he's almost 40 if he wants.
Because it's not like when he skates, it's not like it's really everybody's like, oh man, Dobson's slow. Well, he's not slow. He's just really graceful when he moves, and he moves at a more than adequate pace on the ice. Yep. You've seen he's never like, oh man, he got Scott Mayfield. He just got walked around. So yeah, I think Noah Dobson absolutely can improve still. I'm excited about what he can do. As to how much he can improve, who knows? Drew L. Grumpy says, hey, Ranger fan, you're down 3-2. Florida in 6, as I predicted.
There you go.
Maybe. Hey, I'm fine with Florida in 6. I just think the series goes 7 games. Jazz says here, Romanov, Mayfield, and Dobson really need to advance and take that next step this year. I'm not sure that there is another next step for Dobson. What does that mean? Like go from 70 points a year to 100 points a year?
I think he can take another step forward.
Not as big as this year.
Here's the thing. Romanov is not taking any steps forward. Mayfield is going to take steps back. Pulak and Pelech are just going backwards as well. The only guy capable of taking a step up is Dobson. That's it.
Mario Grump.
Under Snow, this scouting group managed to put together the 5th best prospect pool in the NHL. So this is completely under Lou Lamoriello. Yeah, but none of those guys ever panned out. So one thing is they drafted him. It's the same guys. Ken Morrow is, matter of fact, I pulled it up because I said, let me see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're not all the same. Here we go. Director of Pro Scouting is Ken Morrow. Head Amateur Scout, Vilu Kotunen. He sucks. Director of Amateur Scouting, Trent Klatt. He's been here forever and a day. Director of Player Personnel, Eric Cairns. He's been here forever.
He was part of the team not too long ago, Grump.
Now, David Conti is with the Islanders. He's special assignment scout. You know what that means? He's not in charge of scouting.
You're Lou Lamoriello's little right-hand man.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, that's right. You're just the hit man for Lou Lamoriello. And then they have player development guys. Marty Reisner, gosh, remember him? Vladimir Malikov, Dennis Seidenberg. These are all guys who've been with the Islanders organization forever and ever and ever.
Was it Matt Barzal living with Dennis Seidenberg for a while in New York?
Yes. Yes.
Oh man. So instead of like coaching hockey or anything like that, Dennis Seidenberg said, I'll just be a scout for you guys.
They're all guys who finished their careers with the Islanders. They transitioned to front office, and they've been there since they retired. At some point in time, you got to look outside. You got to go outside, get a fresh perspective. The Islanders haven't won anything in 40-something freaking years. 41 years now, have not won anything. At some point in time, you got to change it up. Just got to.
John Smith said, it's adorable when TJ tries to be New York. LOL. I'm not even sure what I try to do to try to emulate New York. But Freedom Fund Avenger says here, damn it, Grumpy, David Conti he worked for the Islanders. I keep telling you, atop is saying it's the same scouting staff. There have been many changes.
I just went through that. They're the same guys.
David Jesse says here, Patrick Wall will end up in Montreal before becoming a GM here. I absolutely agree with that too.
We'll see.
I think he'll have a chance to be a GM there or a head coach there. But
we'll see.
Couldn't you see a Patrick Wall? You know, as they say the stripes on the zebra never change. Couldn't you see Patrick Wall right before camp if Marty St. Louis got fired? They're like, I'm going to coach for Montreal. Couldn't you see something like that, Grump?
No. He doesn't want to be a coach. He wants to be GM.
Ad Magic says here, is the Engvall contract Lou's worst move of all?
It was bad, but most of them are all equally bad. Mayfield's was not good. Pelican Pulak, not good. Casey Zizekas, not good. Engvall, bad. Anders Lee, hideous. The only one I'll say that was really good, Brock Nelson.
That was great.
That was a good contract. And Palmieri's contract was okay because
Palmieri's contract's been fine.
it's only 4 years.
Palmieri's contract's been fine.
Yeah.
I just can't wait to see what you're going to say about Brock Nelson and Kyle Palmieri's next contracts.
Those will be bad. Those, if he resigns, those are horrible. It's hard.
I'm telling you, I've got that feeling. George Pace, Grumpy.
This is like arguing where the deck chairs on the Titanic should go.
Lou isn't doing shit. The fan base truly hasn't paid attention to Lou. He isn't doing shit.
He's not doing anything.
Get ready. He will do what he's always done.
He's not doing anything, Cotton.
Trade away the selections. Try to make team now. Scott Levy says here, yes, but San Jose is about to draft Calabrini because they kept their draft picks, unlike Lou, who gives them away like candy.
Yeah, but they didn't do that for years and years either.
I would love to be, because when they were bad, they were trading away all the first round picks too.
Yeah.
Man, I'd rather be San Jose right now than the Islanders.
I don't know if I'd rather be San Jose.
Is that a hot take? Here's the thing.
I think Mike Greer's a shitty general manager. He gets nothing of value for what he trades. He's terrible.
Have you looked at what our guy gives up?
Didn't Mike Greer play for the Devils? Didn't Mike Greer play for the Devils?
Get ready. That's our new GM. After Lou. Lou's going to bring him in as our new GM.
Absolutely not.
He'll help us rebuild our team, Grump. But at least for the Sharks, they could say, man, okay, they have a lot of young
They're freaking bad.
They are bad. They are bad.
Really bad.
They are really bad. But at least they're headed in the right direction.
We don't know that.
You don't think they're going to get better? You think you're going to stay where they are like this forever?
I think they're horrible right now. I don't see any excitement from them at all. I don't see any. I just think Mike Greer is a terrible general manager. They're not even loaded with draft picks. All right,
they're starting to do that now because they've
been bad for a lot of years.
They've traded away so much. How many years do you think they've been really bad for? 3
or 4.
That's a lot of years.
Considering that they're just getting worse and worse and worse every year, yeah. It's tough to get worse and worse and worse. I mean,
here's the thing, though. They had nobody in the draft. Then had nobody in the prospect pool because they were trading the picks away year after year after year. Who does that sound like, Grump?
Yeah. Well,
when you start going bad, you're going to get really fucking bad. At least they're already at the really bad point. They're at the bottom. We're going to get to a point where we're at the bottom, too, just like them or like Columbus. We're going to be really fucking bad. Okay. And you know the person you get to blame? Lou Lamoriello.
Yeah,
that's it. You look at they haven't had a lot. They haven't had a lot of first round picks there. They haven't. William Ekholm, he was in 2021. They had no second round pick and 1 third round pick that year. 2022, a first, 2 seconds, and a third. And the first was a 27th overall pick. So they traded, I believe, to acquire that 27th. This last year, they had 2 firsts, which was the 4th overall pick, that William Smith kid, who's played really well. He had 71 points in 41 games, and now you're going to be bringing in, Calabrini. So they're adding pieces that have the chance to be really successful. We'll see.
Yeah. I just don't.
They've got a lot. They've got a lot, but here they did many years of the same thing we did. Continue to trade away draft picks, trade away the prospects to try to win one cup, to try to win the cup, to try to win the cup.
I just don't think Mike he got really less value than he should have for the guys he traded away.
I agree.
That makes him a shitty GM in my book. So just like Lou, same thing. Freedom Front Adventure says, TJ, if Lou isn't providing the type of players Wah wants, then Wah is going to get very, very loud and put pressure on ownership in public and behind the scenes. That's what I agree with too. He doesn't really like to play in the sandbox correctly, that Patrick Wah. He says that he's changed. He ain't changed.
They never do.
Can't change. Come on.
Drew L. Grumpy.
I bet if Patrick Wah becomes a GM, he wouldn't give out death stares to the fans when they beg and plead for Timo Meier.
He'll just start giving them blinkies. Dude,
Timo Meier, I never understood the love affair with Timo Meier. I just don't think he's that good either.
Oh, man. Freedom Front Adventure, Grumpy.
Who the hell let Son X travel to the UK unsupervised? Sadly, Britain has fallen and has painful path to saving themselves right now.
Yeah, you got guys like X in the country, you are in trouble. Absolutely.
He's got a razor, so I don't even going to let him back in this country.
Well, yeah. How often are you going to shave? He's only going to be there, 10 days? A week? 2 weeks?
Every day. Shave every day. You should shave every day.
Nobody shaves every day. What are you talking
You know who
about?
doesn't? Terrorists. They don't shave every day.
Rob G. Grumpy.
Always been a Ranger hater. I know if any team can do it, it's Florida.
Johnny Mack.
Grumpy TJ, game and goal prediction for the Rangers-Panthers game. Game and goal prediction for the Oilers-Stars tomorrow.
He says Rangers 4-3, Oilers 3-2 tomorrow.
I'm going to go Dallas 3-2 and Florida 2-1. 3-1.
I'm gonna go Rangers tonight 4-1. Wow. And I'm gonna go ahead for tomorrow, Edmonton 5-1 over Dallas.
Wow. Okay.
Say goodnight to Dallas. Bye. Home to mommy there, Dallas. They're done.
Okay.
Done.
All right.
JP says Kelly Sutherland equals suspect. Wes McCauley equals even more so. Yep.
I agree.
Drew L says it's time to turn the TV on, Grumpy. Don't worry, he's already got it on, Drew. You don't have to worry about that. John A says here the draft pick trade to acquire an extra draft collateral is going to be used to help ship out unwanted Islanders assets such as Anders Lino or Anders Lee. Absolutely, it is. Yep.
We'll
Unfortunately,
see.
I believe you're 100% right, John.
Tony Little Cheese says, when I was playing NHL 24, I traded Varlamov to Edmonton my second season, and they win the President's Trophy and beat me in the Stanley Cup. That's the worst thing.
Trolling.
Isn't that the worst thing to do is trade somebody off of your team and winds up beating you? Ugh.
The fact that he lost a Stanley Cup to a computer is quite sad, Tony Cheese. JP says here, I near spit out my drink when Zibanejad skated alone in the slot, and the Spanish-speaking announcer was, Otra vez! Mika! No! I assume it was something like that. Freedom, Fun, and Adventure says, TJ, Marshall Warren signed Islanders. Dream for him to be an Islander. The kid can skate too. Great edges like Matt Barzal. Ignore the height and the weight in the article. It's not accurate.
Never heard of him.
Who's Marshall Warren?
Never heard of him. Some kid who likes to wear Islanders pajamas, I guess.
Oh, no.
Never heard of him. Do you know who Marshall Warren is?
No, never heard of him.
Okay.
Britain's going down like they did back in 1776. Son X is starting the second American Revolution. Don't worry. He's a secret spy there all the time. Grumpy and TJ had no idea.
No idea.
Oh, he's a secret spy. He's done a very good job concealing that from us. John A says here, here's a little exercise. Pull up Lou's draft class selections from 2004 to 2014 in New Jersey, and then 2016-17 in the Leafs. I believe he's only drafted 8 NHL caliber players. Matthew was a gimme, and you can't count the 2018 with us.
Right.
So that leaves 8. It's just atrocious. I'm not sure it matters if he trades our picks away.
That was my point. Because if you got the wrong guys in charge of your scouting, you can't identify a player. What the hell do picks matter at all then?
Oof.
You need a new scouting staff. You need a new general manager. The head rots from the top. It's always been like that historically.
Hold on a second. Now I'm going to pull up the Devils. It was 2004. Was that his first year with the Devils? Was 04?
With the Devils since the 90s, late 80s, 90s.
Oh, man. Well, shit. He was a GM the whole time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe we're just looking at the last 2 decades. So last 20 years.
That's all it is. So how about since he hit 60, which is like freaking 25 years ago? How about we do that?
So Travis Zajac absolutely hit there. But in typical Lou fashion, no second, no third, and no fourth. Okay, so Travis Zajac, absolutely. He's one. 05. I don't know. Do you consider playing less than 400 games being a valuable selection there?
Who is it?
Oh, you're not looking at it. My mistake. Sorry.
No. Okay, so TJ's pulling it up. See, you don't do that. I don't know what the hell you're doing most of the time.
It's up. What's up, Grumpy? Look.
I'm going to say no to anybody in that group.
I was about to say, I figured it's not. No, don't worry. First round, second round, 2/3. Nobody.
No to that. Who played 400 games in the 2005 season?
Who's this guy? Mark Fane? Never heard of him.
Yeah, he's a no. He's a no. I never freaking heard of him. He didn't play for them.
2007. Nick Palmieri. I wonder where he got. Is Nick
So
Palmieri related to Kyle Palmieri?
probably his brother, father, who the hell knows. So that's a no for 2007.
Hold on. I got to look that up. Is Nick related?
Who cares? Go to 2008. So far, 1 in 3 years.
2008.
Adam Henrique.
Adam Henrique, absolutely.
Yeah, that's it. That's
so
it.
2.
Yeah.
No, in this group.
Jacob Josephson. Yeah, he was pretty good. Not with the Devils.
315 games? No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay, no. He was just marginal. John Merrill was supposed to be good. Yeah, John Merrill played a long time. Scott Wedgwood. I mean, he was
Scott Wedgwood is 31. Man, oh man. Okay. Scott Wedgwood. Okay.
He was a solid backup for a while. John Merrill played a lot of years.
We'll give him 4. 4
Most
guys. I'll give him Wedgwood and John Merrill. That's fine. 4. Adam Larson. I guess
Blake Coleman.
Adam Larson. Blake Coleman.
Yeah. I give him those 2.
Okay, so we're at 6.
Yeah.
Did that count right? Shit, let me go back. Man, Blake Coleman, Adam Larson, Wedgwood, Merrill. There's 4.
I don't know if I say Wedgwood is great. He's a backup. Are we saying backups are, impact players?
Zajac. Okay, we'll exclude him. All right, there. Zajac. We'll give him John Merrill, Adam Larson, Blake Coleman, and
4.
And Henrique. 5.
5. Okay.
We will not give backup Scott Wedgwood to him. That's fine. Miles Wood, 2013, right?
Yeah.
He's an NHLer.
Yeah.
That's
not the Stefan Matteau. It's a different Stefan Matteau.
Severson,
yes.
Alex Kerfoot, yeah. 7. Miles Wood, I'd give him 1. 8.
I think you already counted Miles Wood.
No, that's 8. I didn't put it on my hands. So we were at 5, and then we gave Severson, and then we gave Kerfoot, and then we went ahead and gave their Miles Wood. So a total of 8 so in a time period of the 10 years he was there.
And for 2014 also, I think he said.
Yeah, there was nothing in 14.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so now you want to look at Toronto. Maple Leafs. All righty. I don't care if he had the first overall pick. I'm still going to give him credit for it. You could have pulled Nail Yakupov for all we know. Okay, we're 17, 18, I believe is that. Okay, so Matthews. Yeah, so now we're at 9.
Joseph Wall, maybe.
He's only played 36 games. I'm sorry, I'm not giving that to you yet. Joseph Wall's only played 36 games?
Yeah, this is his rookie year this year.
Wow. He's 25 years old. He absolutely could be.
I don't know who Carl Grunstrom is.
Neither do I. Nobody on that
Liljegren is pretty good.
He plays for the Rangers now?
I don't know if he plays for them.
Or who's he play? Is it who the hell is it? Or is it Florida? Who's he playing?
That's it. Just Liljegren. No.
Toronto still. Okay, so you're going to give Liljegren or no?
Sure, I'll give you Liljegren, yeah.
So 10.
And that was it.
18? No, he was with us in 18.
Yeah.
So then Simon Holmstrom.
So look who they got. Look who they got the first year he's not there. Rasmus Sandin and Sean Durzi. They're both players.
Wow, they're not trading away their selections either. Isn't that nuts? And even look at it, along the way. Don't worry, they still weren't trading away picks, even as they were competing. Well, they were these last few years, but man, Toronto shit. I know the Toronto fans are pissed off, but anyway, that was it's depressing to look at. Not great. Let's see here. Let's see if there's any new comments. Oh, Uncle X should be on the no-fly list. Oh, God. Oh man, yeah. I could see him get kicked off the plane for vaping. Oh gosh. 04 is the post-cap era. Okay, that's why we used 04. Okay, I was thinking 20 years, but that's fine too.
Yeah, because the cap is no for him.
Okay. He can afford a trip to England for 2 weeks, but still he doesn't have but we still don't have a wedding date.
Don't ask me.
Oh my God. Oh my God. What is this? Tony Cheese, Fitzel Diddle, Cheese, Mad Tings. I don't know. Oh fuck. Okay. Let's see here. You go. Freedom Fun Adventure, though.
Seriously, though, I am so worried about Son X. Who is taking care of him? I wouldn't let that kid go to the mall unsupervised, much less another continent.
His fiance, hopefully, is supervising him.
We're watching Dog Z.
Oh, God. Oh, man. All righty. Let's wrap things up here, Grumpy. What do you want to say before we wrap things up here today?
I want to say love and laughter to everyone who listens and even those who don't, from TJ, the grumpy old man, and the in absentia Son X.
Thanks so much, everybody, for watching the show here today. We'll be live with you guys. Oh, well, no show next Saturday. We forgot to mention that earlier. No show next Saturday.
Thanks for letting me know.
I'm gonna be out of town, Grumpy, next Saturday. What do you mean? Thanks for letting you know. You should know that, but no show next Saturday. Be back.
We will be doing a TJ and the Grumpy Old Man show tomorrow. Is that true?
Probably, yeah. Depends. Okay. Anyway, let's wrap things up here. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in. Thank you, Grumpy. What do you want to say before we wrap things up here today, Grump?
I already said it. Thanks for paying attention.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you so much, Grumpy, for being a part of the show. We'll be live with you guys here tomorrow on TJ and the Grumpy Old Man. Probably no show next Saturday. But thanks so much, Grumpy. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in.
Good night.